Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for spending your valuable time right here with the Adapt 2030 channel. Derecho pushing, atmosphere, more water vapor in that, strange clouds across the planet, aerosol forecasts matching up with cooling in Europe, the smoke over the Iberian Peninsula, total smoke emissions, all-time highs, smelling plastic, interacting with UV, blame the sun, North Atlantic sea surface temperatures, that spike on the right, broken instrumentation, or nature doing something instantaneous we never measured before. Sea surface temperatures looking red. June 21st, skip forward a week, July 1st, looks a little tamer, doesn't it? Across the oceans, lots of blue. An atypical, strange monsoon covering India, 80% of the subcontinent already covered. What's going on with our atmospheric flows? Wanted to preface the video here, and the extremes are everywhere. And what we see with atmospheric extremes is also correlated and overlaps very cleanly onto crop losses. Now, what I'm going to show you in the video here with the amount of corn, wheat, and soy, like yesterday's video, export routes, a lot more expensive food, but it's going to be more damage to the crops out in the fields. Let's take a look. Frontline edge, derecho, meaning sideline winds. This thing is a atmospheric wave, and when I say that, it's very similar to an ocean wave as it pushes forward, racing along the ground. 60 to 100 mile per hour straight line winds. And oh, what does it look like from the GOES satellite lightning mapper here? Something strange in the electrical frontage of that, but the upwelling at that frontal boundary, something to behold. I know you want to see it slowed down. Let's look at it again. Are we looking at waves on a beach? Cresting. Severe weather reports. Anywhere you see a blue dot. Damaged crops. Flattened corn would be a good one. Lots of farm reports coming out now. That was boot high by the 4th of July. Usually it's knee high by the 4th of July. But as we look at straight line winds blowing through fields, through the corn belt of America, it's flat. Some will come back, but a lot will be lost. And corn prices spiked 13% in June alone before the derecho. Now add in the historic August 2020 derecho, over 1 million acres of crops. This one will be something similar, possibly more. Customers without power, it's same but different. On-ramp images here, that same cavitation, definitely a wave moving through the atmosphere, more moisture laden after the Hunga Tonga eruption. This one's in Newfoundland, Canada, what this is ghostly cloud called an Arcus cloud. Not often seen. It takes a combination of different sea surface temperatures, high pressure, and outrageous hot-cold boundaries to form this one, just saying. Aerosol forecast here off of MODIS, Terra MODIS satellite, milligrams per cubic meter in the carbon black, moving along, darker, more pollution in the atmosphere. Aerosol forecasts, as we saw running through the 26th to the 28th of June. Matching right up with ground surface cooling that was going to be coming through the last part of the month into the first day of July. Iberian Peninsula experiencing one of the most notable wildfire smoke events in modern history, undefined modern history. Give me a date. White out for you here. Modern history, if we're looking since the Younger Dryas, would be the last 1,000 years or so. Check this out. Many people today struggle to manage their weight, but this is more true than ever after the age of 20. This is because after the age of 20, our body's metabolism slows down by as much as 4% every decade. By the time we're 50, we've experienced a 10% drop or more in our metabolism. Luckily, there's ways to help get that fast metabolism back, and in time for summer, this amazing keto powder works by increasing the ketone levels inside our body, which in turn support a boosted metabolism. with just a single scoop a day. It's an excellent alternative to the keto diet for its ability to help users experience the benefits of elevated ketone without all the difficulty. If you want to try it now, because last time they ran out of supply. Took them a little while to get stock and inventory back in, more and more difficult with the supply chains. Also for the Adapt 2030 audience, take 51% off your order by going to adaptwithketo.com or click on that link in the description box below. It'll take you to the same place. And now on with the video. Copernicus EU dropping smoke images in the Mediterranean to the northeast, Italy. Zoom in on that. You can see Rome right there. Smoke. And you know, it does follow a trajectory as almost as if the current. You think it would be wispy and evenly distributed, but electromagnetism visible in our skies. Goes visible Wednesday morning. Also, Windsor, Canada, all the way Chicago, Toronto, everywhere you're looking. Heavy smoke going offshore. Halifax. Up in Nova Scotia, St. John's as well. That Newfoundland photo was taken from up in that area, straight north of Charlottetown. And if we look over into the UK, Blackpool, looks like some of those images that you would see when they get a lot of dust coming out of the Sahara. But an unusual one for me here, the smelling of plastic. A lot of people are starting to smell plastic, not burning fire forest smoke that smells like leaves and wood, etc. They're even putting articles out now to explain why it smells like chemical when it never had before. It interacts with UV, this smoke coming off of wildfires in the forest, and then it forms volatile organic compounds that interact with UV and create benzene and formaldehyde, and they happen to smell like burning plastic. Not sure, it's my first time to see an excuse like this why something smells different than normal, but hey, who knows, we're in a changing world. In Cincinnati, Ohio, taking you with the black line down to Cincinnati, this is what it looked like, 26, 27, 28. Similar to those images that we saw in New York City on the way. But the air readings, as you can see, purple is the denser aerosols. But here's something interesting. Somebody who works with formaldehyde, I'm not sure of the job, posted this up. 96, it is so dangerously dangerous that they're like, oh, this is insane. On the PM 2.5 and the concentrations of formaldehyde in the air is just, you know, you close your job site at that point. But looking at the total fire carbon emissions, otherwise known as smoke from a forest fire, straight up on that red line, 2023. All the other years kind of tapered off. There were some others in July that started upward really quickly as well, from 2003 to 2022 on different averages and years. Something is causing an enormous amount of fires, and it seems to be right in Canada. What is it about Canada that those fires really haven't spread over the border into the United States? And also these new stories coming out to explain different phenomenon and, you know, ground cooling temperatures from aerosols in the air. And then you get these stories about, wow, we should do geoengineering. Look what's happening. Nature's doing it. We can replicate it. Just give us control of the skies and we'll make sure that the sun gets blocked out there too. Sounds good. Not really. We've seen a fair few movies when they block the sky and it never turns out well. Another strange and unusual category here, North Atlantic sea surface temperatures. And this is 1982 to 2023. But that bar is just so incredibly unusual. When you're looking at temperatures that move like 1/10 of a degree or 2/10 of a degree, and that's like a noticeable change. Something going from 22.4 to 23.4 in just weeks is either broken instrumentation or something that we haven't seen the likes of underwater volcanoes or something else with an instantaneous fashion. And if we look at the NOAA Coral Reef Watch, they use a different coloration. Obviously, the red's red and more red. But you can see the difference in blue up around Nova Scotia in those same areas in Newfoundland, St. John's, etc. Cooler than normal by 5 degrees Celsius. Other parts, 5 degrees Celsius warmer. You know, you're getting this huge inversion in ocean temperatures. So I pulled up different data set for you here off Tropical Tidbits. Same thing, sea surface temperatures, same exact area on the planet. July 1st temperatures, we'll take a look at the variation also in coloration. 5 degrees Celsius, I see very little of that except tucked between Spain and France right there on the very far right. That cool persists. Newfoundland, Maritimes of Canada. But you see you get a more of a general cool, not versus that super hot chart. When you look at that red one, scares me. But over a 7-day change. What's so interesting about that event is as quickly as it went up, whatever caused it to go up, a full degree Celsius of water temperature across an entire ocean, that is unfathomable. Really, truly, this is so far out of like possible. You're warming an entire ocean in a week, 1 degree Celsius. Something else had to be going on. But just as quickly, look at the drops in temperature. Anywhere blue dropped in temperature. So whatever it was, it caused rapid heating, but it's right back down again. And if we look out over the global view here from Antarctica to the Arctic and everybody in between, and then we start to see El Nino forming off of South America, western side there. But look at the Cape, down at Cape St. Francis, all the way down to like Cape Town down there, cool along the western part of Africa. Those blues show it for what it is. All right, here we go. El Nino forecast or warming oceans forecast. Let's see how much on the money it is going to be here. So at the bottom, June 2023 forecast, and that's statistical probabilities in the color charts, what we see on the right side. So if it's nearly 100% or over, you're going to see that yellow. Like it's almost guaranteed we're going into El Nino. So the August 2023 forecast going up there, second from the top. It's nearly a no-brainer that the oceans are going to heat there because of El Nino. So it's going to be bright yellow. Anywhere else you see that's really dark into the blacks and dark purples, that's almost no possibility. And if you want to take a lot of the scatter noise out of there, jump over to the right, and you see some of these same exact areas warming. So as we get into August and September, obviously El Nino kicking in, but will that area around the North Atlantic over into Western Europe, will that hold with cold, or will we get a flip? It's an unknown, soon to be seen. And off of Ryan Maue's feed here, this is from 1980 also to pretty much present. It doesn't include this year's hurricane season, but it does include 2022. So if we were looking at the prior charts about the North Atlantic sea surface temperatures back to 1982, I thought this is a really good fit. And we can look at the frequency, which is at the top, like how many hurricanes actually form. And we can look at the energy in them. That's the bottom chart there. And it definitely looks like 1992, 93, 98, somewhere around there seemed to be the most intensity. But as we look, we're somewhere in the middle averages there. Now over to atypical. Again, something so strange and unusual is baffling weather forecasters in India. This time atypical monsoon. Generally, it steps as it moves from, say, the Himalaya area and heads further south. And it'll be a very stepped fashion where they can almost, tweak this thing by the week where the monsoon is going to move and how it's going to move. Well, this is unusual. The whole country just got covered at once, 80% of the country. Last time that this occurred, 1961. So is it atypical or is it a typical pattern that occurs every 60 years? Just asking for a friend. But since it's such a hot year and we're talking about heat and broken heat records, I thought I'd bring you over to Greenland, show you some calving glaciers in the melt season here. How beautiful is this sunset as we look at the ice walls collapse, as they do every year. The ferocity and the calmness of nature. So this type of extreme is going to continue through the summer, and it will be amplified by the Hunga Tonga eruption and now the ozone depletion down in the southern part of the hemisphere. Look for this next. And just everywhere you look, there's a lot of cavitation and very unusual patterns in the atmosphere. Well, you would expect that. After ash at 72 to 78,000 feet 3 months ago from Shiveluch in Russia, and a year prior, the largest eruption since Tambora in the 1800s, full water vapor, sending a full new 10% of water into the atmosphere in one single day in one event. Our atmosphere added 10% more moisture. So as this plays out through the next year to 2.
And if you don't have enough time to
possibly 3
grow
until
your
that water
own, you
starts
can
coming
buy
out.
some emergency
and
foods,
stays out in the
3-month
oceans
emergency
and does
food
not
supply.
re-evaporate up to
My Patriot supply and Adapt
2030.
The cloud
Great way
layers,
to
once
support
again,
Ken. Keep this
we're gonna
information
keep
flowing to
seeing
you on
these.
air. That link's
They're
in the
just going to
description box
amplify
below,
from
along
here.
with tonight's links, stories.
So wherever you see with your
and
food
images,
pricing,
so you can do your own
food
research
prices
and
are
share
gonna
with
increase,
friends
there's
and
gonna be a lot more
family.
losses.
I appreciate
You
you
know,
watching.
not
I hope
only
you got
the
something
drought,
out of
but
it.
now these
I'll see
extreme
you next time.
events, and
Bye for now.
It's just everywhere you look. Corn, wheat, predominantly are struggling across the planet, and the Russian Black Sea Grain Corridor Initiative will cease in the middle of July. So you can anticipate, just with the weather woes and the geopolitics, atmospheric cavitation disturbance, ozone depletion, there's going to be a lot of crop losses, and food prices are going to run from here. So prepare accordingly.